welcome back to Study Break. We just recorded episode 20. So, first reactions, what was up?
Good episode. It had it all.
Oh my god. This episode had everything.
Combat, check. Roleplay, check. Religious intrigue / possession.
Beans almost dying. Check.
Check.
Lore, check.
Lore. Smut. Check.
Check.
Oh my god. Big P, kind of.
Big P, check.
Moldy sandwiches. Check.
Proboscis,
Probisky.
nectar.
So we started off.
It almost had a kiss.
When?
You're thinking last episode.
No, I'm thinking whenever Greg was like, oh, it's you.
Yeah.
Maybe
Oh.
that was a lot more romantic in my head than it was.
Oh,
to
I
y'all.
didn't get that from the description. I think you put that.
Yeah, I kind of went off on my own
That's fine. Just
thing there. Anyway.
So we started off with Sawyer knowing that it was Felicity who had taken Big P and not the rest of the crew.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna get to sit on that and make a decision for a little bit longer until it came
Well,
out.
I mean, Beans still knows, but I mean, I would say that Beans doesn't know that Sawyer knows. So does Beans want to say?
I was afraid that y'all would never trust
you
me
don't
again.
think that in that vision I saw it pass through her?
I wasn't looking at its face.
I mean, it could be. Well, then why didn't y'all ask who was it? So I'm gonna say that y'all didn't know that she knows.
It's not gonna change how I react.
Okay.
I thought
but-
I was afraid that you were gonna be like, you knew and you didn't tell us.
No, but I am gonna be like, did you know?
Oh well, I can lie.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, we can deal with that.
I don't know what I don't know
not
what I'm
even
gonna do.
not even being like, oh, did you see this before? Being like, this is your sister.
Did you know the whole time it was her?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I was more afraid of, is that y'all would think, oh, if Sawyer didn't come clean right away, or like, yeah, like how long has she known?
Yeah, he's gonna probably. I think he's wondering if you're like in on it.
Mm.
Not like a whole lot, but enough to be like, hey, I think we need to chat.
Or at least just like covering for her. Like maybe Sawyer doesn't know what she's doing.
I was covering for
but
her a little
she's
bit.
taking care of her a little bit. I
Yeah.
mean, you were,
Like,
and
I
also
didn't say it right away.
they didn't notice you sneak out that
Wait.
night.
I thought I rolled it. Am I crazy? I thought I rolled a perception check when she got back in bed that
You
night.
did, but
It's
I
a
don't.
disadvantage.
Did it fail?
You rolled a 20, but then you also rolled a 4.
Yeah.
Or
Okay,
something.
Okay. Because I thought I like knew and just like didn't say anything.
Yeah.
Roll the
I thought
tape.
Roll it back. I don't think you did.
You didn't, because I would remember.
Yeah. So that happens, and then y'all decide to take the flower with you and a couple of the smaller bulbs.
Bulbs.
Bulbous
5.
5 bulbs.
I don't
And,
know. It's very
and-
important to me that he knows that.
And then y'all head to. I thought y'all were gonna go to the caves first, and then y'all would have seen that Big P isn't there.
Ugh, well, honestly, I'm glad we did it this way because if I saw that Big P wasn't
You would've
there
left.
and then went to go do that big battle, I would have been like, what's the point?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, which honestly worked out for me. I just expected y'all to.
It would have made more
Um,
sense, because how could we carry the supplies to the cave? We didn't think about
Well,
that.
y'all could have. I mean, it would have been like.
I just wanted to locate them, right? It's very easy to be like, or even direct them to them,
like,
you know, like,
swing by.
yeah.
Mhm. Well, it was kind of like the supplies are being protected, so.
And I didn't know the thumping, like, my theory was, I was like, what if this monster is like, it's over in this area to like get intruders from keeping them from the cave. I was like, I want to know what we're dealing
Can you
with and
say?
if it's gonna.
Never mind.
I thought if whatever was over making the tapping sound maybe was connected to like guarding the cave, but was like
Yeah.
further out and would like sweep in and get anything kind of like
Yeah,
had a range.
That was a good theory.
And so that's why I was like, I at least want us to lay eyes on like if it is a monster, what we're dealing with, and then we can decide like, do we just sneak to the cave? Do we?
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of ready to like not engage unless we had to in this fight.
Yeah, I was
Same.
surprised that Sawyer ran up.
I know. I was like,
Sorry, I love combat.
Yeah.
I was also like, maybe we let them, you know, really hit each other and take each other down.
But I also, Sawyer was
I don't think it
mostly
was a bad
worried about
decision.
Greg and how we
Yeah.
couldn't save the other goop person, and so I wanted to help.
Well, that's what
in
I was
this fight.
concerned. I was like,
Yeah.
if this nectar isn't what heals it, it's like the only alternative we have is to kill him if we engage.
Mhm.
That's what I was scared about.
Yeah.
He was so powerful. I wonder if he hadn't had the help of whoever that was, if we could have taken
Yeah,
him.
he's very like, especially with all the like resistances and everything, it was very like godlike.
Yeah,
but he
that
didn't
was,
have
like,
legendary action, so it feels like almost like demigod or
He felt
possessed by a god.
Kind of like a warlock almost is what I was thinking.
Yeah,
Like if
and-
this isn't actually Hyperia, then it's like maybe he like for all intents and purposes looks and acts like a cleric, but like technically he's been like given all of these
yeah.
It makes me
abilities
wonder, like, what
in
did
like
he have
warlock
to give?
fashion.
Like, what did he have to give to get all these?
Yeah, that's
abilities?
true.
Like, there's got to be some sort of price.
And what did he, because remember he already failed doing something, so what was it that he's like already failed at doing for Hyperia that like this was so important to him?
Well, maybe
I
he
think-
let the ring get away
yeah.
for that long.
I was like, he like lost the ring, or
He also came from the direction of the caves.
that was one thing I had in the back of my mind. He probably was sent to get Big P.
and then he failed because
Oh.
Big P had already moved on.
Yeah.
Also, how did the ring get in the supply? Was the ring like
It wasn't in-
planted in the
No, it
supplies?
wasn't in the
in the church.
supplies. It was
Oh,
by
in
the
the church.
statue.
Oh, okay.
Statue.
So it wasn't part of the.
No.
Okay. Actually, no. I think it's obvious that he genuinely thinks he's serving Hyperia.
Yes.
He could
Yeah.
be, or it could be someone saying, "I'm Hyperia"
Mhm.
to this cleric who wants to
and
like.
he's like, yes, queen.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh my god, like you so are." I don't know.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
it could be like that Hyperia is this like, it's just, it would be weird for Hyperia to be this like power hungry kind of like ruthless being, and then people lie and frame her as this like wholesome, like vague, like god. Like
I think that
goddess.
is so
Is the
rela-
advantage, is the
like,
advantage
So
to-
like God.
that's
like
so human like religion.
I feel like human is the opposite. Like it would be a god who's like benevolent, and then people are like, oh, but like actually you have to do all these things, but it's really just their like their desires. Right.
No.
That's what I'm saying. Like
I feel like people in power are more likely to say, oh, and also God says you have to give us a bunch of your money, and that not be true. And in reality, whatever God this is
you've
like,
said
I don't care
she's
either
like
way.
a removed she's like a removed god. So it's like no one like they were worshiping the things that they've decided that
Yeah.
she represents in the world, but it's like when you actually meet that god, it's like you're you know what
it could be
it's
like
like the Greek gods. It's like they're worshiping like this sort of, they were like worshiping these ideals, but then it's like in all of the stories, the gods were actually like
They suck.
horrible, sucky people.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, but it's still like they were still worshiping Aphrodite for love and Athena for like wisdom, and like
But when you read about the gods in like an epic, they have selfish desires.
they have very selfish desires and like fickle. They're very fickle and like
Maybe it's just the advantage from that is that like it tells a good story,
yeah.
right? Like in the Iliad, but or like. The
But it's
Odyssey.
also like Christian God is like there's so many different like interpretations of what real God is like.
yeah.
And it's like a lot of American Christians are like, or like, I don't know, like modern, non-denominational, like, he's so incredible, he's so loving, he loves all of you. But then it's like, you read stories about what God did in the Bible,
Yeah,
and you're like, holy
"Oh,
shit, this guy
yeah.
was kind of an asshole
I think
sometimes.
it's whoever's worshiping it can put the spin on it. So like maybe you and your family, it was very happy and positive, whereas
Yeah.
like these
But
other
that's
people.
also the general, like that's not just my family. That's like the general realm.
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
we're
yeah,
in.
but this is like I think it is like it's a different sect that like
It's just weird. 'cause it
follows
seems like-
something like a different thinks of Hyperia differently, and we still don't know if that truly is Hyperia. And if it is,
Yeah.
it's like that could just be who she actually is, and
Yeah.
the realm is just switched.
Well,
all
like,
of the
or-
golds we've met have been like outwardly like, oh, the goddess of light, the goddess of good things. And
Yeah.
then like a gold killed 2 people last year. Like,
yeah, but I also don't think that speaks for like not every gold is going to be like I know this secret unlockable version of Hyperia, but also it makes sense.
Unlockable.
Unlockable. Like if the Golden Order is this like small like group that's in power, it would make sense that they would let everyone believe that Hyperia was kind of this vague source of good, because then whenever the Golden Order is like, we have a message from Hyperia, she wants you to commit genocide, all those people are more likely
to
be
do
like,
it.
well, we've been following her our whole lives. So it makes sense why the Golden Order would let this sort of like myth of a benevolent Hyperia be perpetuated, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Or it could be another goddess who's
it's
like,
just
I'm
greater
Hyperia.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be another
It-
goddess who's like, I'm Hyperia, listen to me. And everyone's like, we love Hyperia, and then she's not. She's
Yeah.
lying.
Well, and it goes
Exactly.
with
That-
like justice and like this is all for the greater good. So it's like, oh, well, like if they are good, then the things that they decide are bad are things that we need to get rid of, or in typically it's like, or like we just like take care of. But if it's like if this divine entity or messenger says that it needs to get rid of for things to get good, then that is just scripture. That is what needs to be done.
Yeah.
Well, and it's back to like, if she is this like, I want to make a new world, it's like, better doesn't mean better for everyone. Like,
No,
that's
not
the,
at all.
the whole
It's
thing.
like how we got put in the hole,
Yeah, exactly.
and everybody else got a better room. It's like,
My name is Johnny, and I'm the host, executive producer, and prince of lies for the Monsters Playbook. What's the Monsters Playbook? It's an actual play Monster of the Week podcast set in my hometown of Minneapolis, Minnesota. It's a character-focused adventure where you'll meet Kira Ashwood, a journalist with a cult past she's desperate to atone for, and a secret power hidden even from herself. Casey Davis, a taciturn secret agent becoming disillusioned with the agency she thought she could trust. Theo Nessos, a professional sorceress trying to escape the shadow of her powerful magical family. And Mark Clayton, a pretty haunted introvert who just wants to make sense of his powers and all the weird things that keep happening to him. If you like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, The Dresden Files, or any city-set supernatural story with monstrous threats and messy feelings, check out the Monsters Playbook. New episodes every other Tuesday, wherever you get your podcasts.
You didn't see this interaction because you were looking at your dice. So Lily and Campbell, when it was coming to the point where it was like, give me the ring.
Campbell and I were both making like a ring with one hand with our thumb and index finger and putting the other index finger
So you can
through
Like a
it.
imagine
sex
what that-
motion.
yeah.
Like
Sex
a
motion.
sex motion.
But
And
what
then-
we were saying was, put the ring on.
Yeah.
I
Well,
was
at
thinking
first
like
I was
Lord
like-
of the Rings, like he was gonna go invisible
Yeah.
and run away.
And I think Olivia for a split second was like,
Have
what
sex
the
with him?
fuck are you guys doing?
Yeah.
Fuck
Like,
him?
fuck
then-
him?
And then you guys like mouth the ring, and then I go, I was like, no, I'm gonna eat it. And they
She
go,
like lifted up an imaginary ring and swallowed it. And Jared was looking down at his dice, and,
and
we
they were
all
like, yeah.
"Yeah."
And then but
I
listen,
thought it was the best idea ever.
I thought it was too, because I was gonna be like, either you cut me open or I shit it out.
Yeah,
like,
he
what
was
are you
gonna-
fucking
He
do?
was gonna rip you open.
He would have.
I did consider that, but
Rip
then
you apart.
I do like to think myself like, if you give me a serious warning, and I was at 3 hit
And
points.
he was playing the Beans is about to die music.
If I was in rage and had 40 points of health, I might have tested my luck, but I had 3. Everybody's out of fucking spell slots. This guy cannot be
He
charmed.
was killable. I mean, the resistances there towards the end were like
How like
pretty hard. So he started the fight initially with like 160, but then like the Tomb Tapper and him were like going at each other. That's
Yeah.
like I was rolling a lot of those while y'all were talking so that like they could do a lot of damage on each other.
And we had the boys with us.
And then it was kind of like whenever y'all jump in will be how weak they are.
that's why I
um,
was like, I kind of like, even though podcast wise it's not interesting, I kind of was like,
Stay.
let's let them just like beat the shit out of each other and decide like if like Connor or Greg goes down, we can move in. But it's
Mhm.
like, maybe we let them get pretty fucked up and then get
Yeah.
in there.
we could have. I wanted to get in there.
No,
though.
I
Yeah.
don't blame you. I was just like, that was my thought process of like,
Connor-
why work harder? when you
Connor
can work
was losing, I think, technically, at like whenever y'all jumped in.
What about his double nat 20s?
yeah. Fuck
Well,
you for
that came after.
I was so jealous of that because
I think I rolled. I
I'm a
think maybe
character.
6.
Okay,
nat
not that you're not
20s.
characters on this podcast, but like
I'm not a
So-
character.
Sawyer has never had a moment that cool, and Connor just was just like, oh, there we go.
I know. I'm like, I felt bad because I was like, like I like he is very strong, and like that would be really cool to see what would happen. But so I was just like, I think I just got to roll in front of the table.
Yeah,
Like, that's all
I think
could
that's a
do.
smart decision.
But also, you described it cool. The way he brought like a huge, like it was like a solid beam.
Yeah.
Just like, boom. That was cool. So it was like worth it. But
Cool.
oh, I was jealous.
Um,
Oh, I have a Beans question / Olivia question. How much of that was how much of that was Olivia like wanting to see what would happen with the ring, and how much of that was Beans like trying to sacrifice himself for some sort of greater good?
A lot of it was Beans, because that's kind of his like guiding principle. I know it's a little complicated based on what you know about Beans, but his guiding principle is like he wants
After
to make...
I feel like every study break we go, we gotta ask Beans about his backstory.
Nobody ever
and then
asked me.
We never have time. Okay.
He truly, like, his guiding principle is like he wants to make the world a better place and like get rid of the evil in it as he perceives it. But also I think he just has this innate I don't want to say hatred, but like distrust of Hyperia, just because she feels like the opposite of hell, and like no matter how much he wants to remove himself, he knows that like if he told Hyperia, like if he met Hyperia in person, she would probably try to kill him just because of everything. So kind of this like innate like, I don't trust you, so it made me also want to be like, fuck you, I'm gonna eat your ring.
Mm-hmm.
But also like he doesn't believe Hyperia is the good the world needs either, if that makes sense. So that was kind of what it was layered in, of like it was kind of a punk fuck you, and it was also like
it was very question authority, like I don't have to do what you fucking tell me.
And then it was also like I truly was like, what if this is the key to, like, when he said new world, I was like, I'm not giving it to you now. Like, I was like, what is this about?
He said something so suspicious. I was like, dude.
You won't exist in the new world or whatever.
Yeah.
And he said something about order, some sort of, I don't want to.
New world order.
Yeah, I don't. That was bad.
I'm trying to think of like terms of we're getting cookies out of the oven right now.
Cookies on deck.
I'm also trying to think like in terms of like anything like small that we might have missed, because there was a lot of little things. What about the note that was on the delivery that Golden Order is not supporting Little Branch anymore?
That
they're
was
finding
insane.
a new manufacturer.
They're finding like Walmart.
Yeah.
I was so mad. I was like, support local businesses.
Developing their own probably.
Yeah, and then it was
thing.
signed by Lord of Rathas.
Yeah.
But you don't know, maybe like if we've defeated, maybe the Tomb Tapper, I guess, was like the monster that's been like kind of keeping them out of the forest.
That was like thumping, and like that was the thing that was making the thumping noise, and also like the birds
Which,
came
like,
back.
so predictable. I literally knew it was going to be a guy with no face and a stomach in his stomach, and a face and a stomach.
Also, how interesting that the Tomb Tapper was kind of guarding the supply drop.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know, was it meant to be like they find it when they find it? So like by the time that they figure out that we're not dropping anymore, it's like way past the time. I don't know. That's really complicated, but seems like
this guy has some cheeks on him.
No, that's what I said. I said. So we have a mini figure of the Tomb Tapper, and he's got some fucking ass cheeks on him.
Yeah.
They are taut.
They're taut. They're sculpted.
They're very sculpted.
The way his legs are is like fucked up. I was looking at that. It's like, imagine like your...
What's it called?
It's like
prorated.
Prolapsed.
No. What's the word? Anyway, it's like goat legs.
Yeah. No, they're
What's
cool.
the word for that?
I don't know. Goat.
No, but they're not goat legs. Goat legs go the other way. They go out and then down.
You're lying.
I think so. Oh,
You're lying.
They go a little bit back, but his are like directly like
His are like a right
parallel
angle.
back
Yeah.
and then down.
Yeah, they're a sharp angle, but they're the word that I'm searching for is whatever it is used to describe goat legs. Its legs are digitigrade.
Digitigrade?
And it's called that because it's essentially technically walking on its toes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then its ankles are such a like prominent point that they basically act as a second knee.
Yeah. Well, also, I mean, the Tomb Tapper was almost like
he's just killed all our minis.
Yeah.
the third most important thing there.
Yeah, he was the biggest, but it was like I was not even.
It was kind of just
Connor was so much scarier than him.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Connor is giving Rolf from Sound of Music.
Rolf.
Is that his name?
I don't remember.
Whatever. He's a Nazi. That's my point.
Fair. And then
You don't agree?
God damn.
I mean, he sucks.
I mean, the whole like new world, I was like,
He said New World Order. I was like, oh my God.
I said, and anybody says like the new world and you're not joining, I was like, that only means that you are committing genocide. Like, there's no way.
Yeah, that's like, there's only one thing that happens after
You're not making a new world. You're just killing all the people you don't want in the current world.
Mm-hmm. Y'all find supplies. They were going to give veggie dogs. You guys find the note that they're not delivering to Little Branch anymore. You find the ring that wasn't special. It had 3 little, like, you didn't detect anything about it.
I think maybe it had some really powerful, like, disguise charm on it. Like, it is super, like, powerful, and it just, like, had something that we can't detect through.
And then the fight was going on. The nectar, you used that on Greg. What do y'all think? I'm trying to think of like what Greg talked about.
Yeah, I was a little confused. So his brother passed away, and was he like visiting like the site of his grave, or was he just alone because he was grieving?
He was at home.
Yeah,
right.
It sounded like he was like
isolated.
Yeah, he was very isolated.
Yeah.
He started going through a rough time,
Yeah.
and like he was at home grieving, and then the monster came and stabbed him with something, and then he started hearing voices, and he started losing control of his body, and then he woke up basically.
Yeah. And then this is like a big jump back, but whenever we were fighting Miss Goop and the Red Bride, Miss Goop raised her arm and was controlling Morrigan, right?
Yeah.
So the Red Bride was not controlling Morrigan. Miss Goop was, or at least they had some sort of tie together.
Yeah, like Miss Goop was also like had a hand in it.
Yeah. So we can assume that the same thing was happening to Morrigan after she got stabbed with the demon's blade, right?
Yeah.
So somebody must have stabbed Greg, and because he was isolated.
He said he got stabbed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said the tomb tapper stabbed him.
Okay. So, and since he was isolated for a week, unlike Morrigan, where we were like, whoa, you were getting possessed more frequently over the course of, remember, what was only 24 hours.
Yeah.
It fully transformed Greg into a goop because he was isolated.
And also there was like the thing like about like his brother passing away seemed like the isolation and like how he was crying as he like came out of it.
Like it had frozen him.
Well, but the
no,
other girl was wet, or Miss Goop was wet too. So I'm wondering if it's something about
like
people
salty water.
like people being
yeah.
in grief. Like, was maybe Miss Goop somebody who was killed at Frogmont, one of those 3 girls, was really close to her, and in her grief, this like attaches onto people. Because I remember she was wet too, and then I felt like it was made clear that it was tears this time.
Is it my theory that that's the 3rd girl who died, or do we know that?
Miss Goop?
That's still a theory.
Okay,
That's still a theory.
I think Miss Goop is the 3rd girl, but we don't know.
Yeah. So I think it's like whoever is controlling the goop. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not the people inside the goop. So Miss Goop, geez, I'm saying goop so many times. The girl who was inside of who was covered in this goop was like not the one controlling Morrigan. It's like whoever is in charge of the goop and is like puppeting the people covered in goop is the person who was controlling Morrigan.
But Miss Goop raised her hand and Morrigan raised her hand, right?
Yes, because the person who is controlling the goop is the person who is controlling Morrigan. Who was like, it's like they were going to make Morrigan a goop person too.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's like the girl who is inside of the goop, if we had gotten all the goop off of her and not smashed her to bits, dust or whatever, like if we had gotten the goop off of her, maybe. Okay.
She wasn't like, oh, the goop is coming off, we could save her. She was a revenant under there.
But I still think it's like whoever is gooping people is the one controlling them. They're just like little hosts, right? So even if Miss Goop was doing it, it's not that the person under there is like responsible. It's like they are also being possessed to possess the other person. Yeah.
Yes. But I also think that if this is the 3rd girl, the girl who died, if she was like caught in the crossfire, this is my crazy theory. I have no idea if this is true. I think Moray and Tara died. She was caught in the crossfire of whatever they were fighting. She came back as a revenant seeking revenge on on both sides, on like the concept of the war between them. And she was grieving because she had lost her 2 closest friends who had also like maybe killed each other. I don't know. So she came back as a revenant, and then the goop master just possessed her while she was already a revenant.
Yeah.
Is that crazy?
Yeah. No, I think that's
that
a possibility. But I think there's some link between like people in grief or something. Because it feels like even if she was our theory is like she's the 3rd girl who was caught in that's your theory, caught in the crossfire. then it would be grief related. My theory is that the third girl is this person they keep being like, oh, they almost blew our cover. Is she destroyed? Like, blah, blah, blah. I think that might be the third girl.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. When they were like, when the Red Bride was like, I have somebody on it.
Yeah. Like, that could be like,
I think she was talking about.
That could be the goop master, though. Like, maybe she was, like, playing the long game trying to goop people, and then the other two found out, and, like, that's what caused the fight. I don't know. I think it's, like, we don't have a lot of solid evidence.
But it definitely has something to do with grief because they were both covered in their tears.
That's what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
I think it has... So it's, like, either, like, that girl, like, it is the third girl, and she died, and, like, is a revenant, so she's kind of, like, not a tortured soul, but a lost soul. Or it's, like, somebody who is close to those girls that,
Yeah.
like... I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe it's like attracting. It like makes you vulnerable to this type of magic, or it like. But
Yeah.
Morrigan got stabbed.
She got stabbed by the demon,
Yes, no, I remember. But like, and then Greg got stabbed by we don't know who. He
the
said
tomb tapper.
Tomb
Oh, yeah,
Essentially,
sorry.
I'm assuming kind of another demon.
And then we don't know who stabbed the Red.
Mm-mm.
But it could have been. It could have been whoever the Red Bride was sending. It could have been one of the other two girls who died.
Yeah.
Either way, we don't know. But it's just they both had. I don't know. I wonder like what Morrigan has in common with them because she wasn't necessarily grieving anyone when we met her and when she got stabbed.
But I think she got stabbed just because we were directly in battle with a demon. Right? Like that was just an after effect. Like it just happened. But I think these other people were targeted because they weren't battling something and got stabbed in the middle, from what we know. Like
Maybe that's just like a really specific weapon to use if you don't want.
Morrigan
that
just
person-
got stabbed with a tail.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a weapon. She just got stabbed by the demon's tail.
Oh yeah, she didn't get stabbed by the blade. But
No.
the same effect was happening to her.
That's why I think it's a demonic thing that they
Yeah.
can choose to do.
Well, and then she was gonna stab Gracker. But that could again, it's like Gracker just happened to come over there.
I think this blade that we see people use is just like if you're not a demon, they can give you a cursed blade
Yeah.
to do their
But
bidding.
Morrigan was gonna stab somebody and turn them into goop. We can assume, right? That whoever
Mhm.
Morrigan stabbed with that knife, they would have
or at least start their possession.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Yes.
And then so we have that whole fight. And then Connor really starts spouting off some Hyperia praise.
Good call.
And also I was really interested because y'all were like, we gotta like help Connor. And I was like, he is there for one thing.
It was iffy. I was like,
it was like a mutual enemy though, because we want the Furbolgs to get their supplies.
Mhm.
You know, so like unless are we supposed to like regret killing this guy?
No, that
I-
guy was fucking bad. He was
The
gonna eat
tomb
beans.
tapper?
He was
Like
gonna
it's
eat.
good that we didn't kill Greg
Or
or
nails.
something. But like, yeah, the Tomb Tapper, it's like you were taking the Furbolg supplies. So we had a common enemy for like a little bit there.
Yeah, for sure.
I
And
also
also-
I want to say that as Lily, I did not want to help Connor. I am instantly like,
Yeah.
this guy sucks so hard. But Sawyer, if somebody is fighting and being like, praise Hyperia, Sawyer is gonna jump in and be like, yeah, I'll help you.
I also didn't know. I think it was clarified during the fight of like that was him. Like there were moments where it was like, oh, this is him speaking. Because I was like, I'm not sure if he's just possessed in a different way,
Mhm.
right? I didn't want to be like, oh, just because we can see this guy's covered in goop and this one's not. We're like, you're doing this on purpose. But I think it was.
We like made sure that he was really a fanatic.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know, but like I feel like at the start, that's why I was like, maybe we do help him because what if he's just possessed on the either side, like
Yeah.
on the other side, and so
We can start talking about how y'all went to the cave and
I'm really sad about that.
saw the moldy Sanders beans. Big P wasn't there, but then the book Under the Stars.
Yeah, under the stars. I was like, oh my
Right.
god, are you kidding me?
And she wanted the moon, like she wanted to be loved like the moon, basically.
She wanted to
And
be
then the
loved by the
By the moon, and then the moon came down
She wished that the moon held her.
and had light that wasn't too bright to scare away darkness.
That was so good.
That's
Also, the
gotta
timing of
be-
that was so good because the way you narrated it, it made me cry. So then, when you came in with the fact that the second half of it was smut,
It was.
that was so funny.
That was
Oh my
crazy.
God.
Can you imagine being like reading that, being like, oh my god, like things are clicking. You're like, oh, this is beautiful, and
The
then you're
mystery
like,
is solved.
Yeah. I wanted to do
Just
like
the most horrifying. Like,
a bit of like a veil. I didn't want to, or I guess like that was kind of a line. I didn't want to, I was like, oh, should I do like, and then like her hand slips under, and then it's like, and then Sawyer's like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
So
no, because
funny.
we would have been like enthralled and being like, what are you about to say? And then you would have, I feel like you would have started explaining smut, and we would have been like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
If you
What
had
the
said a
fuck?
hand slip somewhere, my mind after all that would have gone to like assassination.
Yeah.
So I would have been like, oh my god, no, she's gonna kill her. I would have gotten
So-
it eventually.
A star was created when the moon and the core collided. Under the stars, a woman wanting to be loved by the moon. Is she the...
Ooh. Olivia's cookies are done.
Yeah. And what were you saying?
Well, the
The moon and the core collided, and
This
they
is-
created the star. And the book is called Under the Stars.
Under the stars, a woman falling in love with the moon. Maybe she's the core.
She's the core.
I think we have to read the smut.
Well-
No, I'll say
That's what Elsa says.
the smut is there. I
So
would
it's
say
like, I think you just want to read
Can
the
we
Just
smut.
send
can we
us a
skip
typed
the
up-
can we skip the smut? Is
I
there
write
anything
40
after the
pages
smut?
No, so I would say it was just like this was written by Gracilla Ruido.
What
And-
the fuck?
Yeah.
Also,
So-
obviously, Gracilla Ruidon, and maybe the N is scratched out. I swear to God, if you just wrote down Ruido and you're like, that's funny, that's close, they're gonna think that.
I don't know. And
I'll kill you.
She did that to fuck with us.
So,
I'll
but here's the
kill
thing:
you.
it is the smut being 40 pages long is significant in the fact that the intro is just 2 pages, but then like it's like this is for smut. This isn't like a prophecy
Yeah.
like book. This is just like a smut book. Like, why did she write this intro? Like where did
To
she
hide
hear
it.
this?
Because she must have heard it somewhere and then been like,
40 pages of smut. You don't hide. Like,
Yeah.
why? Like, you don't write a book
no,
for
no, no.
2 pages.
She was like, I've got to have some sort of intro. They can't just start having sex. She was like, I've got to
Yeah.
have a little intro for this steamy porn I'm about to write.
Yeah.
And she was like, I'll use this story I heard as a kid. Blah, 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 blah.
I don't know.
So,
And then she was like, ooh, Under the Stars. That's good. I love that you came up with that dedication
making me-
fast and it's really good.
You're making me think
That's
that
my rose.
you're making me think that we just found Felicity's porn and it like doesn't have anything to do with anything.
Well, Bean saw that she was writing
Yeah, she was taking
notes from the first pages.
Yeah.
yeah, so she was starting to take notes on all the
She's
porn.
doing the same thing we are, where we're like, wait, this whole moon and star thing seems really
Yeah.
important. Let's like try to find some.
It almost feels like we're trying to track down like a myth that nobody's ever picked up the through line through like the histories of writings, right? So now it's like, wait, I think this is actually, we're seeing it in all these different like religions and like we're seeing it across spaces that we never thought to connect. Sorry, this is very like
Mhm.
historically what you would do, but like people have never thought to connect these different stories, and now it's like somebody is, and it's pointing to something important, but we've never gathered all the writing. So maybe this is just a piece of like, okay, she was inspired by something she either experienced or that she had read. Where did she get this?
but also,
or
if
is it
it's
her?
Priscilla Ruidon, and that was Tara's journal that said the prophecy style thing.
Yeah. And this is Esta has never heard of a Gracilla Ruidon.
Yeah, it's like, is this maybe like a Ruidon like traditional story, but it's gone down the like other side of the Ruidons?
But you had never heard of Tara Ruidon. So
Mhm.
what if Gracilla is like Tara's, let's say, sister, and then it's like, I don't know, somehow they both heard this story, and Tara, like, they took different things from it. Gracilla was
Yeah.
like, oh, that's going to be an intro to my smut. But maybe Tara was like, oh, this has some sort of bigger meaning. I don't know. The writings
Yeah.
in Tara's journal were like really like symbolic, like almost like she was like remembering this story that she heard as a kid, and for the first time thinking like, maybe this is referencing like deities.
That's what I mean. Of like,
And Gracilla simply did not have that same train of thought.
but I wonder if it's like, so obviously there's like 2 lines of Ruidons going, right? Like whatever line you're on has defected from this line that still exist, right? Tara just died last year, so I'm assuming there's more Ruidons out there that you don't know about.
It's the blondes and the reds.
So it's like whatever this like origin story, I think this story started and then only continued down one line of the Ruidons, and that's why Esta doesn't know it. Maybe it's some origin story, or like maybe this is the great love story of like the first Ruidons, how they fell in love, and like that's like what it's talking about, or something like that. And like that's why it got passed down. That's why she would maybe use it for smut, because it's like distant enough that it's like, oh, this is just more of like
family ancestor
Shut up.
smut.
No, it's more like a
The
myth,
incest
right?
allegations continue.
It's more just like if you were like in Percy Jackson and a demigod and you
Yeah.
were hearing like never mind, that's not a good example. They're like closer. But like in actual Greek mythology, it's like if you heard like smut about one of the gods that was your parent and somebody else, you wouldn't be like, oh my God. It'd be like, whatever. They're
I
so
would.
distant. That's
But,
my theory.
Yeah, but so y'all are thinking that a woman named Grisilla Ruidon wrote the first 2 pages of something that lines up that another Ruidon has
Yeah.
written.
Yeah.
Like fills in some pieces,
Also, no, you keep going.
and then they wrote a bunch of smut.
Or it could be like they're both in on it and they were trying to hide it because Tara's was written into a textbook.
I'm
So they're
saying
trying to hide it in these like
40
books with a
pages.
bunch of other stuff.
The book was written for the smut.
Yeah.
No, if I was trying to hide something, that's exactly what I'd do. I'd be like, I'd give you 2 pages and write about something else, so you'd be like, nobody would write.
You think you could write 40 pages of smut without a true passion for it?
Listen, you can have a true passion for smut and also want to hide information in your book. Why did they have to be disconnected? Anyway, seems like that's not it, but think about that, Jared. Just mull that over.
I think I gotta ask Grisilla Ruido.
Also,
Ruido.
if you say Ruido one more time.
What?
She was like, I need a pen name.
yeah.
I
She was
also
like, oh, my family can't know I wrote this dirty, nasty smut. I'll change
just
it.
X's out the N.
Yeah.
I also got really sad because I think Beans is the reason why Big P got moved.
Oh, because the spiritual presence.
Right? Because didn't Big P say eating a sandwich because I said something to him?
Yeah.
I yelled out to him and I was
Yeah.
like, and he answered back. I think the fact that the flower picked it up means like whoever,
Felicity was like, we're getting out of here.
yeah, it's like maybe I didn't pick up on her. So it's like she heard it enough and was like, we gotta go. So that broke my heart because I was like, the reason we didn't find him is because of me.
Oh.
And if I just kept my mouth shut, he would be here.
Damn.
Anyway,
That's crazy that like it wasn't just a dream. Like you actually, like your spirit actually got.
I would have. I say like, how could I have known? But also like, maybe I should have, because we like traveled to the spirit plane and like experienced.
Yeah. Besides, if it was a dream, how would you know it was real?
Exactly. Well,
like, you know that was really Big P, so of course you had to be there in some capacity.
Well, and I had to.
Yeah.
Well, I think I had to say something to know if it wasn't a dream, right? It's like if the fact that he responded.
Yeah.
Like. Anyway, it's Beans' fault that Big P got moved, but at least we're one step closer. At least we figured out where he has been somewhat
True,
recently.
but now it's like, do we have any leads?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do.
Felicity,
Yeah.
Cinderfoot.
Who I'm gonna detect thoughts.
And y'all still have the
AF.
flower.
I say Sawyer's not gonna like this. I say we go like, hey Felicity, how's it going? Sneak attack her and tie her up in a fucking room and be like, you have to tell us where
Do you
fucking
think
Big
she's
P
gonna
is.
be around?
I think she was there when we left.
She
Do you think
has
we're gonna
to.
go back to school and she's just gonna be there? Not
She
like,
has to be. Because she has to keep up like
I was thinking we would like not see her again for a while.
Oh no, I think she's like been doing this like double, like she
She's
visits him like at
keeping-
night when school's over.
She's keeping up the facade.
I think we should follow her.
Yeah, I think that's better. I think we shouldn't tell her that we know it's her.
No, I know, but like that's what I think the funniest scenario is if we just like interrogated her till she told us everything.
Well, we can do that if the tracking doesn't go well.
Yeah, I think
Or we
it's
can just interrogate her.
my
Well, we know she knows how to teleport.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She probably can't track her.
But maybe we have a magical let's you know what? Let's try to find a device that can like magically track her, like a fucking air tag.
Oh,
Fantasy
I should've-
air tag.
I wonder if I should have done something to
Scrying.
her. Yeah, well, whenever I
Yeah.
gave her, whenever I took her badge, and I was
Mhm.
like, "Look how easy it is to
Yeah.
drop it." That was back when I maybe was hoping that it wasn't her, and then I give it back. I should have made it into a scrying coin. But I don't know how to do that. Is there a certain class that can do
you
that?
gotta I'm pretty sure you gotta make it or something. Like you can't just be
Yeah.
like, oh, this is scrying.
We could ask like one of our classmates, like, oh, we got this like weird extra credit assignment. Can you help us cheat?
Or like a professor, right? We could just be like, we're really interested in learning scrying because that's like normal, right? That's like a normal.
I always leave my
spying.
backpack everywhere, and
Yeah.
I need some
Can
way
you
to
teach me how
find
to
it when I
Aaron
lose
said,
it.
I think all the professors will be like, we work for the Golden Order.
I think you
You're
gotta
busted.
I think you just gotta find someone.
No, I think. Well, but I would like trust that like a teacher would like do it. Like won't mess
You'd have
it
to be a
up.
cool teacher.
We
True.
know quite a few cool
Or
teachers.
maybe I don't know. Maybe Sabina.
That's what I was
mean,
gonna say.
that's like going to a professor and being like, "Can you teach me how to make hidden cameras that you can't detect?" Like it's
yeah,
like
they're
that.
gonna be like, I'm reporting it to Lord Arathis.
No, but like it'd have to be someone.
Arathos.
It'd have to be someone who's like, "Ooh, yeah, like I fucking love that shit, dude. Like let's fucking make it."
Oh shit!
If any teacher was like, yeah, I'll help you out, I'd be like, busted. You fucking pedophile.
like we're undercover. And
yeah. Anyway,
This
Yeah,
is how to
sorry.
catch a predator.
I wish I had thought of that before.
What
I
are we
forgot that scrying existed. I literally stole her thing. Well, whatever. Now I know I can do it, so I can do it again. Sucker.
Unless you've showed her that it's still easy to drop and that somebody found out, so she's like, fix that.
Whatever. I'll do it on her like good luck charm and give it back to her. Or I'll get, since she gave me her good luck charm, I'll get her a good luck
I
badge and
think-
be like, I got this for you. I'm so cute and innocent.
I also
Wear
think
it all the time if you love me.
maybe we should, if we could find Joe again. I think Joe kind of knew some of this, right? Because wasn't she a little like weird when you talked to her about Felicity? Like when you were telling her stuff, she was just like kind of like, oh,
I was like, hey, what's the last time you talked to Felicity? Oh no, I asked Felicity what was up with Joe. And Felicity was like, she was running that donut shop. And I was like, yeah, haha, nothing else.
but what you told Joe that Felicity was
Joe
back at
said,
school.
Joe said, "Don't tell Felicity where I am."
I won't. My lip service is it.
No, but I think Joe, if we ever
I'm
stumble
beating
across,
the tattletale allegations.
if we ever can find Joe, I think Joe might be able to give us some insight into Felicity more than you have.
Yes.
I think she knows
Maybe I
something.
could try in my dreams tonight to
Yeah.
get back to her. Oh, the sweater warmed up my spirit. I was hoping that
Or
it would
like fucking speaking Stone home and be like, Mom, can I talk to Joe? Like,
she doesn't know where she is.
That's what I was gonna ask.
I used my sweater.
Have we all well, obviously we don't know what Beans's
Dad.
knife does.
I was hoping it would heal
Was that
Chet's
what
injury.
the sweater was supposed to do?
What?
Like, is that what? Like, was that all the sweater was doing?
All of your stuff have
He's not gonna
things
tell.
that have not been uncovered.
But it didn't. I
These-
know that I
these-
did bad on my medicine check, but the presence of the sweater didn't help Chet's external injury, right?
No.
But it did help my like internal.
Yeah, it made you feel warm.
Yeah, but it, like not like physically warm, right?
No,
because
yeah.
it was like a
You like were
A chill of the
chilled.
soul.
Yeah, like chilled, and then the sweater made you feel better.
I was gonna give my knife to Big P when we saw him.
I will say,
And
like
tell
these
him to
are.
use it to protect himself.
Yeah, you guys. I mean, you guys have time now to talk to the princeps before y'all leave.
yeah. We can be like, what was that?
Uh,
I guess they probably.
And
Didn't
if they
know.
don't want to tell us, then they don't get any bulbs.
No bulbs for you.
Or they get one bulb.
We
instead
gotta
of
get back
3.
though. We gotta get the nectar back. So then,
Well, but the Brimstone boys are outside with the ship.
yeah. Talia and Grecker, what do they need?
if you guys don't know, they were told to ask the Furbolgs.
Oh yeah, but then we've got the nectar for everybody
So
else.
we gotta
Mhm.
go back. The ship is gonna
we
take
gotta
us
go back and be like,
Yeah.
we got your supplies. Give us your best healing shit.
But we just need to tell them what's going on.
I think they'll help us because we're gonna tell them, hey, like Lord Arathis and the Golden Order suck, and they're outsourcing to some big hot dog corporation.
And we got them their supplies, and we got rid of the monster that they have probably been terrorized by, so they can go back into their domain in the
Mhm.
forest.
Yeah.
Yeah, now that they're not being supported by the Golden Order, they have to. They have to rely on themselves.
And
again.
we've made it safe for them. So the least they could do is give us something to help
Yeah.
Mhm.
Talia and Gracker, so then we can go back and be like, what the fuck, Talia and Gracker? What is happening? Unless we get back and they're dead.
What can we give them to help their infrastructure? Other than that we
I don't think us
Killed
school children
Gracker.
will give them anything to repair the fact that they have just lost their only form of trade and economic
no,
prosperity.
we can try to get but Frogmont's controlled by the Golden Order. I was gonna say we can try to get the Frogmont cafeteria to source from them.
I think the Golden Order feels like in a supply chain scenario, they feel like Amazon. Like no matter how hard you try to fight against them,
still
it's
coming
like
through them.
you are still probably going to have to do most of your things through Amazon.
Plus, Frogma is literally under the Golden Order, so.
Let's do A pluses and Fs.
Okay, I already gave my A+. Oh, I said Rose on accident, but what was it? Oh,
The dedication.
how funny the smut was. And my other A+ is also for you, and it's dealing with my shenanigans being
No, you're
nice.
good.
A+ for being nice. And flunk. What do I flunk? God, it was a good episode. I flunked that I was so confused about the action economy.
No, it's fine.
I flunked myself.
We had a bunch of stuff going on.
Yeah. I'm gonna learn learn the intricacies of my telekinetic stuff better.
My A+ is using the ghost flower. I don't know if you expected us to use it, but because I know we discussed, we were like, we don't know if it is only what has passed by it, or if you can set it in a location and it will show you.
Mhm.
But now we do know that we could set them up as security cameras, or like we could travel to a place and at least see a little of what has happened.
Mhm.
But I thought that was cool because I thought of it last minute and I was like, well, at least because Lily was like, well, we don't even have a lead on where they could go. And I was like, well, maybe we do. Not really, but showed us a little bit. Flunk. I don't know. I don't know if I really want to flunk this. Part of me is like, should I just have given up the ring sooner? But
No, I don't
No,
think.
it was cool.
yeah.
I'm
My-
glad you did. I was afraid that you were gonna die.
Oh,
like I was afraid that you were gonna let it
well,
happen.
I got real nervous there. My flunk is the fucking angel mist.
Oh.
It was such a every time
two nat 20s.
every time I've tried to use it, it's like a cool setup, and it's always like no.
First time it was just me making a decision. I didn't have your roll.
This was not the same
yeah.
as that, but this was just like it the roll failed, and it was like fuck.
And also, like, it wasn't even like the +3, and I was setting it like you guys had to get an 11 or lower. 2 natural 20s though.
Yeah, it was like you made it
was
possible.
like yeah.
Yeah, no, I wasn't
was
like
insane.
it was in crazy odds. I felt very great about our odds, and the fact that we did it twice, it was just like it was not what was meant to be in the story.
Yeah.
He rolled so much. One day I'm gonna have a day where I roll that many nat 20s.
But I
Yeah.
also like I wasn't too worried when you were like, I'm so sorry I used it. I'm not too worried because I do feel like I could go back to it's Sprout,
We
right?
could
Who
get
gave
more.
it?
Yeah.
No, that was from Cookie.
Cookie?
Yeah, because it was technically a
Yeah.
potion. even though
Potions
it's
or
powder.
cookie.
Yeah, Professor Cookie. I feel like I could go and make a plea with her and she would give me more, or like
A
I'm gonna
different
find
one.
something equivalent.
It made me remember that I haven't used any of my potion. I have luck points.
Mm-hmm.
I thought you used.
Nope.
Nope.
Wow.
What do you have?
I have fire breathing.
It's fun.
I think.
Yeah, I think so.
My A+ was for Jared. Like, I don't know. I really liked the way you set this encounter up. That because it very easily could have just been like there's a demon in the woods and you have to fight it. I loved that, like, we already had the Brimstone Boys with us, so they were the people who were able to, like, identify the new NPCs that we were meeting, and, like, there was connection there, like, outside of us. I thought that was really fun. Like, it was just a really cool way to set up the encounter,
Mhm.
because it made the boys very important to us. Like,
Yeah.
it was like, oh, they, like, these aren't just dumb boys. Like, they know things that we don't, you know. We wouldn't have known who Connor and Greg were.
There's also
And
Also,
going
it was
through
that, like I wouldn't have known,
It
but
gave
based
us-
on the
Yeah.
description last episode or 2 episodes ago, I was like, "That's fucking Connor."
And
Greg.
it gave us a great like having it be Nails' ex-boyfriend gave us a great incentive to like actually save him
Yeah.
instead of like just cutting him down like the other, like Miss Goop.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, it's like Miss Goop, it was just like not just like it was a great encounter.
Well, it was like still
But
like she's trying to kill your
She's
friends.
trying to kill my friends. I'm gonna kill her. But like it was such an it was a really interesting encounter, and I enjoyed the way you set it up a lot. My F is I also don't want to flunk anything from this because it was really
Yeah.
good. I flunked the 20s. I flunked.
Yeah, you can flunk the 20s.
That was insane. That was.
You're not gonna be able to find that dice again.
I
after
was
today,
like,
just
I
so
was
you know.
like
Olivia's gonna feed it to
shook.
Rosie.
yeah.
shook to my absolute core over that.
I got up and left the table
Yeah,
at the
you
second
got
Like
up.
one.
that.
Where did I get this from?
That has never happened.
Not for
I
the
think
devil.
Oscar gave me this one.
What?
This
That's
was the
it.
one in the little jar that he gave me.
Oscar's revenge.
He's in trouble now.
That's
it.
Oscars in,
Yeah, I think
in
Oscar
hot
gave me this
water.
one.
Yeah, I flunked the 20s. I flunk. I was gonna flunk
You just
myself.
flunked the
for
20s.
was gonna flunk myself for something. Well, somebody else already did. I think.
I
Right.
want to give
Whatever.
I want to give bonus points. Ooh.
Ooh.
To yeah.
Extra credit.
I want to give extra
Gold
credit
star.
to Campbell, a gold star, because I thought that like you got really into it and had really good role play moments, like when you grabbed him and like what you were saying. And I feel like
Yeah.
that's the first time we've seen Esto really get into something like quickly. Like I
Yeah.
feel like normally it kind of takes you a little bit to kind of get your footing
Yeah.
into like
Yeah.
what your stance is, but I feel like you came in and you're like, fuck you. And
Yeah.
like it was really fun to see and like see
Yeah.
how your lightning played into that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's always. I think role playing is always kind of my struggle. So
Yeah. I thought it
was-
was great.
I've been trying really hard the past couple episodes.
I think it's paid off because also the dance, you had a lot of great
yeah.
moments too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, what you said about the encounter, for me, it also like made it kind of dropped in of like they're going through the same things we are at Frogmont, right? Like it's not isolated at Frogmont. They're experiencing the same things with their friends and people that are close to them.
Yeah.
So it felt more like I feel like sometimes it's easy for us to be like, oh, this is isolated at Frogmont. Yeah, there's a bigger problem, but like we're the only ones going through it. And to see like another school it was like, shit, is every school on their quest right now coming across? Like, have they lost their friends and their goop monsters and they don't know and they're gonna have to kill them eventually? Like, it was just like,
Yeah.
this is obviously so widespread. At least I believe every school is going through this now.
Yeah.
I'd say that I remembered a lot of stuff, and I gave myself. I was like, let's keep going, because we went. This is the longest time that we've recorded
Yeah.
a main
I was proud of you
session.
for that.
That
I
was
could sense
awesome.
that you're like,
I was like,
"Ugh," and I was like, just keep
I was
going.
like,
It'll be
we can
okay.
go. I was like, we can go.
When you let us go, like see Big P's cave,
I
was
know.
like,
I
Yeah.
was so
Yes,
scared you
we're
were gonna
still
end
going.
it, and I
I
was
was
like,
so
please
happy.
don't.
I was so
Yeah.
happy.
Well, I knew because like that was important, and I wanted it to be like that was a lore kind of drop a little bit that I wanted y'all to hear about the love story, and that like that is important. Like I'm saying that like the book was written for the smut, but the love story that's in there is important.
It had a genuine impact on me just from
Good.
hearing
It,
it.
yeah, it was.
It
I
really
was-
made me cry. That's why it made me laugh so hard
I
when
was
you
enthralled.
Yeah.
revealed
I think
what
y'all
the
just-
rest of it was.
Yeah, y'all just gotta find out why Gracilla Ruido wrote it, and like why Felicity had it, because like what does Felicity know? And
You know why she had it.
Oh my god.
And then my flunk. Oh, I want to think of A pluses for y'all. I think that I think Sawyer was being really ingenuitive with your combat because I know that you don't have like bonus actions and you have like a very limited action economy. So you're really trying to figure out a lot of new ways to figure out like the problem of it.
Yeah.
In Beans, I feel like you were really utilizing your movement and
I felt like I actually used everything I felt like I was playing D&D for one of
Yeah.
the first times with Beans, just more because like he missed on me, so I was like, I get to take an attack. Like I
Yes.
felt like everything was clicking in this fight.
mhm.
Yeah.
And then yeah, everything was clicking with you. And then Esta, yeah, the role play was really good. And dealing with, I think everyone's dealing with like the boys and the situation was really good. And then let me think of a flunk. There are a couple like hints that I wanted to throw in there. A couple more. I'm glad that I like had y'all. I want to add in more decisions. Like that's one thing that I've been playing Baldur's Gate is like has been really great. I'm like, oh fuck, there needs to be more like player decisions, which is interesting, and also more characters interactions with characters where like it could go to shit or it could be really good. So like I want more interactions like that because I think that's like the most fun that you can do, like just like a RPG.
I
mean,
like
the
that.
stakes were feeling
Yeah,
high.
I liked that
Yeah.
we also got to choose like where to go first. Like I felt like we kind
Yeah.
of knew what was in either direction, right? It was
Yeah.
like you generally know what is in either of those directions. So like we got to ration out why we would choose one or the other rather
Yeah.
than being like, you don't really know what's over here. You do know it's over here. Cause then it's like, well, we're going to go towards what we know. You know,
Yeah.
it was like, I felt like it was even playing ground, the choices.
But yeah, I think my flunk, it's more of like a D. I think I want to more of like give y'all more opportunities like that. And I wish I just described some stuff a little bit more. I didn't honestly like not a shit ton of planning this time around. It was mainly like beats I wanted to hit, and
I thought it
then
went great.
like important things that were in play, and then see what goes on.
I thought something that could have used more narration is the moments when it was just Connor, Greg, and the Tomb Tapper fighting.
Yeah.
Like, instead of you being like, okay, they hit, it would have been nice that you rolled everything and got the gist of what it was, and then just like narrated, so we didn't like actually know mechanically what was happening. But like, I thought that would have been
I tried
fun.
doing that like the first round, and then I was like, I don't know.
I think that only works though. Something that like really helps as a DM, especially when you have like multiple characters fighting each other, is pre-rolling all that damage.
Yeah, that's what
But
I
that's
like
literally
doing.
just like on a paper, you write it all down. So it's like
I've thought about doing.
you just know like if you hit, okay, I'm using the first damage, and then like
Yeah.
just a time saving thing sometimes, and sometimes it's worth rolling it.
I think I don't have advice for you, like DM advice, but I think don't assume that we're bored.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
don't assume like, oh, I've got to get through this so they can get to their turns. Like, our turns will come back around, and we're still interested in, or at least I'll speak for all of us. We're still interested in like what's going on among
Okay.
the NPCs.
Yeah, because it does inform like how we want to jump in. Like, especially like when Sawyer jumped into the fight, it's like
I would say just don't feel like you have to rush through it.
Okay.
As I don't know what that means for you, like what you're gonna do.
It's like
but-
if you want to take the time to roll everything and then like narrate, like I will sit here happily when you figure things out.
Yeah.
And we have time for that. That's what editing's for. It's like you could
That's
sit there
true.
for 10 minutes and it's like that's not actually 10 minutes in the episode.
editing this one is gonna be
Crazy.
hard. Yeah, that's always how it is
Um,
with when we have combat. Or
Yeah.
something like that.
Thank you so much. I guess we'll end it there. Thank you so much for listening to Study Break, and tune in next week for whatever we upload. Thank you. Bye-bye. See
Okay,
you.
bye.
Bye.